March 8th is the Women's International Day. Now, this global day is meant to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women. So today on The Property Show, we bring you face to face with three gritty women who've made it right to the top in an industry as difficult as real estate. Let me introduce you to SANGEETA PRASAD, Group CEO of Runwal Group. Also joining me is Renu Mishra, who currently leads the world's #1 brand in bathroom fittings, Grohe, for the MENA region. With us also is Pushpa Bector, Executive Director, DLF Retail, Business Head, Luxury and Shopping Malls. So ladies, thank you very much for joining me today, and I'm going to straight dive in with the first question. SANGEETA, Tata Steel, Mahindra Lifestyle, two large conglomerates of the country, to now a very traditional family-run business or group in real estate. Tell me, what have the challenges been in the journey so far?
So I would like to interpret it not as a challenge, but as a realization.
Okay.
The first realization, and luckily I had it early in life, that the corporate world is not like my growing up world. My growing up world was all about, if you're good in studies, you're feted and celebrated. If you're good in sports, you're feted and celebrated. You have a safe haven in form of a family. And you suddenly land up in a place where, while you are given merit for that, you are also made to realize that you are not one of the many. You are unique and not necessarily in the right ways possible. So that realization, I took it as a challenge. I said, okay, let me understand that and see how I can mitigate that and work with my colleagues who are mainly men. And in light-hearted note, Manisha, I say, I'm so fortunate to have worked in a world of men so that I know that as a woman, I can make my place too. So that's how I interpreted the challenge. It's the realization and how do you work on it.
I like the word realization more than a challenge. Okay, Pushpa, coming to you. I can't believe that it would have been easy for you. DLF, as most other real estate companies in the country, are run by first-generation promoters who like to keep the control. It's an industry where trust is hard to come by. What have your experiences been in your rise to the top?
I come from a family from Bangalore with two girls. So we were taught that you can achieve anything that you want to. And all you need to do is really work hard and be high on integrity, and the world is your oyster. Shifted to Delhi, and the first few years, I must say, it's quite a rude shock because it's highly patriarchal. Then Delhi was even more patriarchal. And but I would like to say this, that, it's really up to us as women to really make that mark. For me, it is about a life of perseverance and a life of very clear vision of where I want to be and what I want to achieve for myself and for my family, and that has been the main agenda. Along with that, I must say that when I joined DLF, now DLF at that point, which was 2006, had come into an IPO phase. So they wanted to open up. They wanted to get themselves more into the retail realty space, and also in a space where, they wanted to run it like a corporate, unlike the earlier real estate phase. So in that way, I think the opportunities were there, and it's never easy. It's never easy to make your voice heard. It's never easy to really make people understand around you in a boardroom or in any room that most of the men, they're all men, and you happen to be the one, or, there are two other women there, and that's just about it. To be heard, to be taken seriously is always a challenge. But that's where grittiness comes into play. And it's also, you've got to just prove that you can do this better, if not equally well.
I think the pressure to do better just is there amongst all the women at whatever phase of career you are in the corporate world. Renu, you've broken the glass ceiling in one of the most, like I said in my opening statement, unorganized markets of real estate ancillaries, right? And switched also from finance to a CEO role, and then moved from India to a global role. Has it been any less difficult because Grohe is a European company? Tell us about your challenges and experiences.
I think it's just the same as my friends mentioned here, right? So I think Europe does not even boast of any good statistics, and that's where I'm probably a proud Indian. And I would say that at least in back home we have a lot of financial banks and institutions and a lot of industries where you see women as leaders. So I don't think Europe or America are even benchmarks anywhere globally. I think women representation is very low. And we always keep talking about that, is it us to blame because, we are not pushing hard? But I think it's also the school of thought which has to change, right? We are probably all brought up with equal opportunities to study, to, explore the world. But when you enter into corporates, it's about the management and the board, which that's why it should be diverse and inclusive, right? If there is one thought process, it's all men, let's say of one country or one region together, probably their thinking processes will be similar, and hence they promote talent similarly. I think you just need a few courageous men, who would want to experiment. So I think that happened in my life, that somebody wanted to experiment and say, okay, done a great job as a CFO, so would you want to take this as a challenge? And I said, why not? And that opportunity actually came through, and somebody was patient for me to learn and grow.